Well, good evening, everybody, and the very warmest of welcomes. It's not exactly a warm night, but it's an almost perfect night. And I don't know what it is here about Juniper Hall, but almost every time we have a wonderful prize celebration, Sydney turns on the perfect night for us. My name's Richard Morecroft. I'm absolutely delighted to be back here at Juniper Hall for the official opening of the Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize Exhibition 2019. And as I do every year, I should remind everybody that the family name is pronounced Moran, not Moran. So this is the Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize. Now, just before we get underway, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet this evening, the Eora people of the Gadigal Nation, and pay my respects to elders past and present. Now tonight, on behalf of the Moran Arts Foundation, I'm going to have the delightful duty of opening the 2019 Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize exhibition, which features, as we hope most of you have had chance to see already, all 30 of the finalist works, as well as absolutely stunning photographs from the student winners. And of course, the most important element of the evening is the announcement of the 2019 winners. And I promise we won't keep you waiting too long for those announcements. Now, for those of you who perhaps might not have been at Juniper Hall before, it is the home of both the Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize and the Doug Moran National Portrait Prize. Now, the Moran Arts Foundation actually created the Doug Moran National Portrait Prize in 1988, and very quickly it became one of Australia's most prestigious art awards. And then, in 2007, the Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize was introduced, and it is now the richest photography prize in the country, offering $100,000 worth of prizes, including $50,000 for the overall winner. As well as that winner of the Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize, this evening we will also announce the winners of the 3 categories in the Student Prize. And then it will be time for the big prize announcement. But just before we start our presentations, it's a great pleasure to introduce to you the CEO of the Moran Arts Foundation and the Managing Director of the Moran Healthcare Group. A very warm welcome, please, for Peter Moran.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome most of you back to Juniper Hall, and for those who haven't been here before, welcome to my great-great-great-great-grandfather's house. So welcome, everybody. This year's Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize was judged by photographer and curator Cheryl Newman, photojournalist and photo editor John Jones, and Australian photographer and artist and filmmaker Stephen Dupont. It is a pleasure to be joined on stage by both Cheryl and Stephen this evening. Unfortunately, John is unable to be here. Cheryl, John and Stephen had the task of selecting our 30 finalists, and you can see all of those wonderful photographs inside Juniper Hall this evening. Selecting the 30 was not an easy task, as this year we had close to 3,000 for them to choose from. As Richard mentioned, this evening we will also be announcing the winners of the Moran Contemporary Photo Student Competition. For over 13 years, the Moran Arts Foundation has been running school photography workshops across the length and breadth of Australia. These free workshops are a source of great pride to our family, and we have had over 30,000 students partake in one of the student workshops. The judges for the student prizes are Sally Mayman, Nikki Jackson, Jim Filmer, and Louise Whelan. We will very shortly introduce them to the stage to reveal their winners. I would also at this point like to thank all involved in making the prizes happen. These are namely Anne, Anita, Melanie and Jenny. Thank you, ladies, for all the effort that goes into this. It is now time to hand you back to Richard. I hope you all enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Peter. And it was lovely to hear Peter say that the student section of the MCPP is a really great source of pride for the Moran family and the Moran Arts Foundation. The Student Prize is open to young people around Australia between the ages of 5 and 18. And as we heard, the judges of the student competition are all well-known Australian photographers: Sally Mayman, Nikki Jackson, Jim Filmer and Louise Whelan. And I'm delighted now to introduce Louise Whelan to you to talk a little more about the student prizes and, of course, to announce the winners. So please welcome Louise.
Thank you. So as both a photographer, arts educator and student judge, I get to talk about the hero of the night, the photographic workshops. As art educators, we travel the States with kits of cameras, printers, and our accumulated knowledge as photographers, some of which we hope to impart on our willing and eager students. As photo educators, we witness many positive outcomes when students engage and collaborate through the act of photography. Students get to explore their creativity, boost their self-esteem through gaining new skills. They have walked the path of self-discovery and had the opportunity to not only see their world differently through a lens, but also to be seen as a photographer. As one of the art educators, a common and truly heartwarming response I've heard from many students during the workshop day is, "Miss, this is the best day of my life." Joy oozes from students on photo workshop day, and to be joyful is defined as beyond being happy. There is a delight and a kind of bliss involved in being joyful. This I have witnessed. From myself and the many thousands of students who have had the benefit of the photographic workshops, I thank the Moran Arts Foundation for this great act of kindness. At this moment in history, it could be said that photography is the most universal language on the planet. It is obvious from the crowd here tonight that photography is also a powerful means of social cohesion. Seasoned photographers know how to gain our attention. The breadth of subject matter in the student photography section, reflecting on contemporary life through a youthful lens, has definitely gained the attention of the judges. It is a challenging task to select the most engaging and skillful images from thousands of entrants in the student prize. The wonderful images on exhibition here in this theatre of memory at Juniper Hall are a truthful snapshot of contemporary life in Australia right now. I commend all the finalists in the student prize and would now like to announce the winners. So for the years 7 to 8, Jetson Bullman. Jetson? Congratulations, Jetson. There you go. If you want to stay up here for a photograph. Now for the years 9 to 10, Matisse Decker. And for the year 11 to 12, Anush Cavalier.
Well, thank you very much, Louise, and of course, huge congratulations to Jetson, Matthias and Anusha. Give them a huge round of applause. Great work. Thank you very much indeed, and congratulations. And it is great to hear about the interaction with photography that the Moran Arts Foundation supports, not only through these prizes, but through those wonderful programs we heard about earlier. Now, to the announcement of the winner of the 2019 Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize. And I'd like to invite two of our judges to the stage to talk with you and then to make that all-important announcement. So would you please welcome Cheryl Newman and Stephen Dupont.
And the winner is... Just kidding. Just kidding, of course. No, I'll start the proceeding tonight, and then I'll hand over the microphone to my esteemed colleague here, Cheryl, to announce the winner. I just want to acknowledge and congratulate all of the finalists here tonight, the 30 finalists who have made it to the Moran exhibition and award tonight. You know, it's an incredible honour. I've actually been where you are last year, actually, and I think it's a great honour. And I think to be chosen, I think I was just discussing this with Peter. Is it 1% or 0.1% of the total entries? Either way, it's an incredible honour to be selected from nearly 3,000 entries. It wasn't easy. We we fought blood, sweat, and tears at times to get some people here, and but I think at the end of the day, it's for me personally as a photographer, I feel inspired to see the work here, and so I really congratulate you, and I think you're incredibly important people in our world of photography, and you bring us the visual poetry of Australia. So thank you very much from my heart, and good luck with the futures. Here's Cheryl.
I'm afraid I can't ad-lib with the same style, so I'm going to read what I wrote down. First of all, I'd like to thank the Moran family for allowing me the opportunity of judging this prestigious prize in 2019. It's a very special award as it allows for entries from both amateur and professional artists. At a time when working in the arts is becoming more difficult financially, we need the generosity and support of awards such as this, which allows artists to continue to create new works and reveal the world through a different gaze. The images that adorn the walls of this historic building are rich and diverse as the stories they share. There is a complexity of visual language which so impressed us judges this year. Congratulations to all the artists who are in exhibition here. I believe photography is the language of our age, and it has the ability to shift consciousness and affect change on a scale beyond any other form of communication. I feel passionately that photography can take a message beyond the already converted and reach new audiences through the immediate connection an image can achieve. With this in mind, it's my great pleasure to announce the winner of the 2019 Moran Contemporary Photography Prize. Tamara Dean's winning image is a personal response to the politics of climate change using a contemporary photographic language. This symbolic image addresses the fragility of our planet and the vulnerability of its inhabitants. Endangered is an important picture. Its message is challenging, its presentation poetic. The message is universal and one we cannot afford to ignore. Absolutely, well done. I'm delighted. Tamara. Welcome. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful, absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
I'll take that.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to say a few words. This is an incredibly special moment for me. I would like to start off by thanking Greta Moran and Jenny and Peter and the Moran family for their incredible generosity and their vision in supporting Australian contemporary photography and celebrating it year after year. I've been entering, I also have some other thank yous I'd like to make. I'd like to thank the judges, Stephen, Cheryl and John, who I haven't met. And I'd like to thank Martin Brown, my gallerist who's here supporting me, and the Climate Council. I've been entering the Moran Prize since it started in 2007. It's been 12 years of entering every year, and I've been lucky enough to be selected as a finalist with 9 works and highly commended twice. I've watched it very closely every year, and I have to say that this year's work was absolutely outstanding. When I was looking at the semi-finalists' work, I thought I had absolutely no chance. It's an incredible year for Australian photography, and so I wanted to congratulate all of the finalists and semi-finalists because it's just a really exciting time to be part of the photographic world. I have a few notes. I hope you don't mind me referring to them. This work comes from my Endangered series. It's a particularly important series to me as it speaks directly to my most fundamental concerns and values. My love for the environment and my deep concern for our planet. Climate change is the most pressing issue for humanity and the planet today, being felt across all facets of contemporary Australian life. I wanted to add my voice to the conversation, and for me, I've seen so many images of devastation that I know that I find very confronting to look at, and I can only imagine that a lot of people look at those images and kind of want to look away out of the sort of helplessness that you feel when something is such a big task to try and address. So my approach was to show the beauty and nature of humanity, and in order to show how much we have to lose. I made this work on a trip to Heron Island with the Climate Council, with a group of artists, musicians, actors, philanthropists and business leaders. We were invited there to learn about the state of the Great Barrier Reef and the effects of climate change from leading international climate and reef science experts, including Tim Flannery. As soon as we entered the island, we could see that it was absolutely teeming with life, and there were stingrays, reef sharks, and turtles clearly visible under the water. It was absolutely beautiful to see such an abundance of life, and then, as we were educated about the effects of climate change and the demise of the reef life, unbelievably sad to learn about the human impact on our environment. I'd been planning to photograph people underwater in a formation for a while to make the symbolic visual connection that we are living creatures in a very sensitive environment. The generosity and the trust of the people who were there on that weekend opened up the possibility to test out my idea and to ultimately create the works. Endangered depicts humans as mammals in a sensitive ecosystem, vulnerable to the same forces of climate change as every other living creature. This is personal. Biologists predict that if we continue carrying on the way we are, then by the end of this century, 50% of species living today will face extinction. Only today there was a UN report which warns that 1 million species are at risk of extinction. And humans are not immune. To see ourselves as different and separate to the ecology and the ecosystem of our planet is leaving humanity unprepared for the world we are shaping. Just lastly, I'd like to thank my husband, Johnny Leahy, who, when I was deliberating about entering this work, made the point that you can't get more quintessentially Australian than the Great Barrier Reef, which I clearly agreed. I'd also like to thank my kids, Ruby and Jack, who are here today supporting me. This is such an honour, and I am just so incredibly grateful.
Wonderfully well said, Tamara. Congratulations to her. And I think we would all agree that it is superb to be able not only to look at Tamara's work, but now to be able to have that personal context of her explanation and her sense of deep involvement and personal conviction in the work. So thank you for sharing that with us, Tamara. Thank you also to Cheryl and Stephen, and indeed all of the judges, for the outstanding but extraordinarily difficult job that they do. And congratulations once again to all of the winners that we have met tonight. And now that we've announced those 2019 winners, it's my pleasure, on behalf of the Moran Arts Foundation, officially to open the Moran Contemporary Photographic Prize exhibition. Now, this year, this exhibition is part of the Head On Photo Festival, now one of the great cultural events of Sydney. Of course, we've got the Portrait Prize across the road in the Paddington Town Hall. And in fact, right here in Juniper Hall, there's an exhibition which you should go and have a look at called In Between by Miranda Schmitz. So great to be able to be part of the Head On Photo Festival. This exhibition is going to be running until the 2nd of June. It's open Thursday to Sunday from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. And in fact, throughout May, we encourage you to return right here to Juniper Hall on Sunday afternoons for a series of talks with 3 of the 2019 finalists, Brian Cassie, Jason Thomas and Cassie Sullivan. So please do come and be a part of that. And perhaps, as Tamara just did, through their talking about their works, you will be able to have an even closer sense of interaction with those works. But thank you again for joining us this evening. Enjoy the night, the company, and once again, would you finish by congratulating all of the winners and all of the finalists. Thank you.